All right, hello everybody. Hopefully this reaches you well. This is Martin. I'm going to be working on creating my meatloaf tonight. This is something that my wife absolutely loves. I don't do it as often as she'd probably like, but also at the same time, that allows her to really look forward to it and enjoy it when I do make it. It takes me, it takes about an hour to cook, a little over an hour to cook, and then almost at least a half hour to prepare the meal. So we'll go through that. I'm not going to take you through the entire thing, but you'll see what we have that goes into it and the process, and then we'll look at what it looks like in the end. All right, here we go. So here we are in the kitchen. These are the different things that we're going to need to make the meatloaf. Some mushrooms, peppers. I use either sweet peppers or bell peppers. These happen to be sweet peppers. I really like those. My wife really likes those. I got 2 onions. They're both sweet onions. I just took the skin off of that one already. This is just a glass bread dish that I use. I think it's great. For its perfect size for what we do, because I usually use between 2 and 2.5 pounds of ground beef, 80-20. Got some spray that I'll spray in, some black pepper, Italian seasoning, garlic pepper, some ketchup and mustard, a couple of eggs. It depends on how much you need and whether you need 1 egg or 2 eggs, but it just helps keep it together. A little bit of cilantro, and of course a mixing bowl. And what I do is I'll go ahead and slice up all of the vegetables here, put them into the dish. We'll add the seasonings, the ketchup, mustard, and then we'll add the meat as well. And we'll see what that looks like. All right, as I'm cutting the vegetables, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the oven so it can start getting warm. I usually put it at 425, depends on where you're at, but that's where we're here in Florida. So I'll start at 425, so that way when I put the meatloaf in there, it can start cooking right away instead of waiting for the oven to warm up. After washing the vegetables, what I'll do is I'll just cut them into chunks like this. So the mushrooms, what I do is I just cut them in half, and then I just sliced them and cut off the top of the pepper there, and then I'll throw that part away, but I'll just cut the rest of it into chunks, and then I'll be throwing it all into the mixing bowl together. All right, so I'm chopping up the onions right now. Now you can use, you don't have to use sweet onions or yellow onions. You can use red onions or green onions. I can't do red onions because I'm allergic to them, but this is a type of onions that I'm using for this meatloaf. All right, I've got all the other vegetables in there. Now I'm going to tear up the cilantro. I just washed it, but I'm going to tear it up, and it usually just little pieces like this, about the size of the tip of my fingernail, on my finger. I'll just throw it in there. And then when it comes to the seasoning, it's going to be, I never measure, but here's the black pepper, and I'll usually do probably about, maybe 1/4 teaspoon, so not a ton of that. When it comes to the garlic powder, more than that, usually about 1/2 tablespoon. The same thing goes with the Italian seasoning. Show you what that looks like here. All right, so that's what that looks like with those 3 seasonings in there, and I just poured them in there, whatnot. So that way it's all over, and they'll get all mixed in with it, and then I'll show you what the mustard and ketchup looks like. All right, so I put in the rest of the cilantro, the 2 eggs, and then I put some mustard in there, and then the ketchup. Now this mustard is probably about 2 tablespoons worth, and then the ketchup, that's probably about 1/2 cup worth of ketchup. I'll probably put a little bit more because I'm going to be doing between 2 and 2.5 pounds of ground beef, and you don't want too little so it dries out. Now you can add like slices of bread or crackers in here as well, and this is when you would add it. I just don't do it, and it tastes just as good without it, but you can do that as well. All right, here's everything in there. I'm going to start mixing it up, and I use my hands. Because of that, it's important to take off any like rings or bracelets, watches, anything that you don't want to get all nasty with the meat and whatnot. Also, I went ahead and took the spray, put it on the cooking pan here, because that way, as soon as I'm done with this aspect of it, I can just put it right in there and not have to worry about stopping to spray it. And because of the amount of meat there, I'm going to add a little bit more ketchup. All right, so I've mixed it all together and put it into the pan. I just tuck the sides down a little bit so it's easy enough. And you can always put like something underneath it, so if any grease gets over. Now this is 80-20. If it was like 70-30 or 73-27, you probably have more grease that will come out, and you wouldn't want it to get this high to the top. But because this is 80-20, I can do that without it worrying about it going over. Now you'll see over here that there is a little bit left over, and then this I can just like make into like a hamburger, or just put it in and cook it like that, and it tastes real good just as well. Now what I need to do is I need to put some ketchup, a layer at the top here, and then once that's done, I'll put it into the oven. So I'll show you what that looks like. All right, I actually had to open up another bottle of ketchup to finish this. Now, one thing that you can also do is put like a little bit of sugar or sugar sweetener, something alternative on top here. Just sprinkle it on top, and it gives it a real nice sweet additive at the end. Is something you can do. It's not necessary, but it adds a little bit of something to it as well. Then we just put it into the oven. Let's see here, we're at 425 already. So once we're there, we just put it in the oven I put it in there for 1 hour and 5 minutes because it's as big as it is. And once it's done, take it out, let it sit for 10 minutes, and it's ready to go. All right, I just put the meatloaf into the oven. And then I'll put this timer for 65 minutes. Timer 6-5 and start. Here we go. All right, now that the meatloaf is done, go ahead and take it out and let it sit for about 10 minutes and slice it up and enjoy. If you had a chance to make this recipe, please let me know in the comment section how it worked out for you and whether or not you enjoyed it. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like it, subscribe to my channel, and click that notification bell to be notified when new videos are released. Thank you for watching.